Welcome to the Section Podcast with my man Coach Santa, who is the star of the show. Then you got little old me over here just pushing some buttons. So let me take a sip of my water. I'm sorry.
You slightly parched.
I was good. I was good but right before we got on camera, my mouth got dry, just like that. I was good the entire time, pre-show, everything. I guess I'm nervous. It is what it is. It's showtime, so I get a little nervous. But welcome to the Check Swing Podcast show with Miguel and myself. We are appreciative that you are here. Welcome back to the show. And as you know, I like to start off every show. It's been a while since we've been on, actually. So that's what I'm kind of. I usually do everything. Um, as I usually like to start every show by asking my people, how have they been? So, Miguel,
Sir,
been a few weeks. How have you been?
I'm sore.
Happy holidays, by the way.
Oh yeah, happy belated Thanksgiving, and is this the beginning of Kwanzaa?
How would you put me on the spot like that? First of all, no. First of all, it's not. No, Kwanzaa starts, I believe, the day after Christmas, right?
That's right. That's right. I apologize. I apologize to all those that COVID messed up my holiday, regime.
All good. Yeah, Kwanzaa starts, I just looked it up to make sure. Kwanzaa starts the day after Christmas and ends goes from the 26th up until the 1st.
Got it.
Oh, but happy holidays to everybody out there that's celebrating. If you're not celebrating, do your thing. What a week. Okay, were we on? We've been we were on after the Phillies lost the World Series because I was talking about the bunt. The bunt heard around the world. But the Eagles have been on a tear. Just within the past week, the Phillies have been making it look like they're going all in, or at least they're going after it. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about both of those. But just today, in big news heard around the world, Brittney Griner was released from a Russian prison in a prisoner swap with the U.S. We're going to talk about who won the trade. We're going to ask the question, who won the trade? Let's talk about that. I mean, it's a sports show, so we got to talk about who won the trade, right? But I kind of want to start with the play of Jalen Hurts and the Eagles as a whole, but the play of Jalen Hurts really the whole season, but especially these last couple weeks. I can remember the night they played the Colts, or the day they played the Colts, and it didn't look like the Eagles were going to win that game. The Eagles probably should not have won the game. But Jalen Hurts put the team on his back to the point where my mother called me towards the end of the game and said, Jalen Hurts is playing by himself out there. I say, yeah, it kind of looks that way. He had to put the team on his back. That's what a good quarterback will do. Sometimes you got to be the one to carry the team, man.
Yeah.
He did just that. Last week against who we played last week?
The Titans.
The Titans. First of all, defense did an awesome job. Defense did an awesome job against the Titans. Congratulations to the defense. The whole squad, really. Special teams stepped up. Defense stepped up. Kept Travis Henry, right? Yeah, Travis Henry. Derrick Henry, excuse me.
Wrong area.
I know it's Travis Henry from somewhere. Derrick Henry to 36 yards, 35, 36 yards.
Something like that.
And big for a team that was talked about as they cannot stop the run. Kind of big, right? But the play of Jalen Hurts, man. You've been watching him. I know you're in enemy territory. but I'm hoping you've been able to watch them over the last few weeks. And I'm going to assume you have, and I'm going to ask you what you think of the play of Jalen Hurts and the Eagles as a whole over the last the entire season and over the last few weeks, and then we'll go and check our notes and see how close we are at this point in the season. Because I know I'm nowhere close, but see how close we are at this point in the season to our predictions. So, uh, your opinions, Miguel, on the Eagles.
Listen, the Eagle fan in me or the Philly sports fan in me is always looking at like, man, when is the other shoe gonna drop? And
Thought I was the only one.
no. It's the same thing when the year we won the Super Bowl. It was like, all right, everything was going good. Then Carson Wentz goes down. Then it was like, oh man, here we go. This is where the bad
Yo,
luck happens and all that
you know what,
garbage.
Miguel? I don't mean to stop you, but you're so right there, and I'm gonna tell you why. That Super Bowl year, that Super Bowl game, that last play in the Super Bowl, when the ball goes up, and I saw no time left on the clock. Ball comes down, hits the ground. My man dives over, catches whatever. I honestly did not think the game was over because I was waiting for there to be some reason.
I was waiting for that yellow box to come up saying flag on the play. I was waiting for it.
Like my celebration was delayed by about 5 to 7 seconds because I was waiting for that other shoe to drop.
I think everybody else was because even the players were coming off the field. I think it was Darby. He was like, okay, you know what I mean? It was like that delayed reaction. But yeah, the Phillies. It was like that with the Phillies this year. Like, the one thing I kept talking about all season long was like, we don't have the pitching, we don't have the pitching, we don't have the bullpen, da 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 da. And they completely did a 180. In the playoffs with all the clutch, pitching of Alvarado and Dominguez, and it was like, where did they come from? So, and even when we were up 2 games to 1 in the World Series, I think people forget that we were actually up 2 games to 1. I think that's when you started to kind of see like they started to get tired. I think mentally at the plate, I think they were just the grind was just too much. But for Jalen Hurts, man, I don't see now. The argument is because there's this Raiders fan that I've seen on Facebook. I think he gets his kick out of riling up Eagles fans and stuff. But he pointed to the fact of like strength of schedule, how I believe the Eagles have like the fifth uh, weakest schedule in all of professional football, and that the Cowboys have like the fourth, strongest and all that garbage. And I even think some of the big wigs at like the higher stations and all that crap. I think they still believe that the Eagles are the fourth or fifth best team in the NFL, and some of them are even out. Putting the Cowboys above the Eagles. Has he faced competition? I think he has.
He
Um,
is Jalen Hurts.
yeah, Jalen Hurts, and I think I think the test is going to come. We got the Giants, but anything that's a division doesn't matter how bad either team is. It's usually a tough game. I do expect the Eagles to lose at least one or two more games, just because I just think history kind of dictates that, and I just hope it's not against the Cowboys. But that second Cowboys game is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree with you there. The second Cowboys game was going to be tough. A lot of people talking about the Cowboys trying to sign Odell Beckham Jr., which would make him even stronger offensively. Um, but
I don't think it's gonna. I don't think OBJ is gonna matter. He's still because remember the Super Bowl is when he tore his ACL.
correct,
Takes at least a year to recoup, right?
but they say a little less now these days. So yeah,
You saw what happened when Carson Wentz came back early. I don't think OBJ signing with anyone's going to make a difference. I don't think he's. I don't because I don't. He's not that impact player that he used to. At least not yet. He still has some recovering to do.
Yeah, he has some recover. I would assume he has some recovering to do, just you know, because of the way things are. Um, but where he causes an issue is he now has to be accounted for, because no matter how he's performing, you can't leave him open. It's going to hurt you. Maybe not as much as he would have hurt you when he was a Giant. We don't know. He's a little older now. He's got injuries. But I think he's enough of a veteran to know how to be effective within a system. If you put him on your team as a third receiver, don't have him playing special teams or anything like that, because he won't be a special team. But if you have him on your team as a third receiver, he can make a difference. I really think he can make a difference. If he's the Eagles' third receiver, is he better than Pascal? I don't know at this point on this day. But if I say Pascal and I say Beckham Jr., and you're not thinking of the injuries, you're just thinking of the skill set. Who are you less afraid to face? Pascal. So I mean, I think just him being out there can be effective. But I pulled up the schedule because the guy talked about the strength of schedule, which we all see the Eagles. The Eagles schedule is not that tough. Got to play who's put in front of you, and that's what they've done, and they've been successful doing so. Okay. They playing, if I'm not mistaken, Miguel, help me. They're playing a second place schedule. Okay, because they were a second place team last year. So they're playing the second place schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. They started off with the Lions because they're playing the North. The whole NFC East is playing the NFC North. So they started off with the Lions, which we know the Lions were a weak team, but they played the Eagles very tough early in the season. Eagles won that game by 3. Then they come back and play the Vikings, who a lot of people had had a lot of people had in the Super Bowl prior to the season start. And some people still have them in the Super Bowl. 10-2 team right now. One loss to the Eagles, one loss to I forgot because I don't follow the Vikings. But one loss to the Eagles 24-7. Oh, well, they faced Kirk Cousins in prime time. He's terrible in prime time. Well, guess what? Playoffs and Super Bowls are in prime time. Okay. Anyway. Then they go on to play the Commanders. I said on this show and any other show I was on, the Commanders won the NFC East 2 years ago. People forget that. And they go on to beat them 24-8. Then they played the Jaguars because the Jaguars were the Jaguars the second place team last year? Why are they playing the Jaguars this year?
Because we're playing the AFC South, I think.
But
whatever division the Titans and the
you're right.
the Titans and the Jaguars are in the same division.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. You know what? You know why I didn't catch that? Never mind. I don't even want to say why I didn't catch that. But because we're playing the AFC South. So that's why the Jaguars on the schedule. Cardinals were a second place team last year.
That game we probably should have lost.
That's another one we probably should have lost. You're absolutely right. They were a second place team last year. That's why they were on the schedule. Cowboys always on the schedule. The Steelers were a second place team last year. It seemed like they sucked, but they were a second place team last year. That's why they were on the schedule. The Texans were playing the AFC South. Commanders lost to them. Colts beat them by 1. AFC North team, second place team. No, are they in the North? What are they? AFC South. Sorry. And you got the Packers, second place team last year. Right? No, we're playing the NFC North. I'm getting confused with all the conferences. Sorry. We're playing the Packers were a first place team last year.
Yeah.
Some people were expecting them to be in the Super Bowl last year. It is what it is. Then you got the Titans, another Super Bowl possible contender. Some people don't think they're good enough at the beginning. I'm talking about the beginning of the season. Maybe a few people didn't think they were good enough. They got to the AFC Championship game last year, so a lot of people have them as as one of the top tier teams. Now, play who's put in front of you. I know the schedule ain't the strongest as it looks right now, but they've only fell to one opponent. Had they been doing this, had they had the same schedule last year, it probably wouldn't look as good.
Well, I mean, if you had this year's Jalen Hurts last year,
It's a little different.
it's a little different because the coach from the Commanders was saying, what's the biggest issue or the biggest thing? It's the quarterback. No team can rise higher than their leadership at quarterback, and I think that's been the shocking thing, especially with Hurts. Just his poise, man. Like he almost seems bored at times. Like he looks like he's just like you know nonchalant or whatever, but by all accounts, he's just really intense and trying to make sure that he makes the right decisions. And so far, so good.
Yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to yell like that. Is he going to win the MVP? Let's say season ends today. Does he win the MVP?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay. Who does? If he doesn't, who
Well, I
does?
think it would be between him and Mahomes.
Really?
I'm trying to think of who else.
Mahomes just dropped a third straight to the Bengals.
Oh Lord, never mind.
So he had a tough day. It was a good game. But he dropped a third straight to Joe Burrow. I don't know if it's all Joe Burrow, but to the Bengals and Joe Burrow. Um, and correct me if I'm wrong. They also lost to the Bills. Did they lose to the Bills this year? Earlier this season, I think it was.
I think they did.
I think the Bills won that game, and that's when everybody had springboarded the Bills into um, Super Bowl content. Like they were the team. They were definitely going to be there after that win. Um, I think I kind of have to disagree with you because I'm not really sure. I'm just looking. I'm not really sure if anybody's having a better season.
Yeah, no, no. I mean, you're right. I think it's hard to say because even when there was the MVP talk with Carson Wentz, there was always something about his game. Not the inaccuracies or anything. I mean, he showed kind of that poise and stuff at times, but he didn't. When Carson Wentz lost, they were obvious losses, and he could never really bring the team back, if that makes sense. Whereas, like with Hurts, I mean, he
Like
does. I mean, he had
the Seahawks game.
right the Seahawks game and then the Chiefs game early in the season because I think they started out 1-1 that year, the Super Bowl year, and then but with Hurts, I don't. I'm almost scared to say it. You know what I mean? Again, it's that Negadelphia in me. It's like I want to say because
I'm gonna say just don't say it
right.
yet.
It's like it's like no hitter in the sixth inning. You don't say anything to the pitcher. First player I almost cut in the middle of a game because I came out to the mound because he was getting close to his pitch count, and my third baseman was like, "Hey, are you pitching a no hitter?" And we all looked at him like, "Bro, what the hell are you doing?"
Oh man.
We were winning the game 6-0. We lost 7-6.
Oh man.
Yeah. And then we gathered together. He's like, "Well, I'm not saying ever again." I was like, "Yeah, thanks. Don't ever say that again."
Oh,
It was depressing.
oh man, that's terrible. You don't do that. That is something you just do not do. He learned that day, and he'll never do it again. Um, you know what's funny? I saw a post today on Instagram, and I don't remember who the post was from, but it was a statistical comparison of Carson Wentz, that MVP caliber year he was having with us
Mm.
and with the Eagles, and Jalen Hurts, both up to the 12th game, week 12 or whatever the case is. I think the Eagles were 10-2, and of course this year's Eagles. Excuse me. Stats were eerily similar. I'm going to say they were. I'm going to say Carson had. I don't remember how many touchdowns. Had 6 interceptions at the time. I'm going to say.
Yeah, because at the time, I think even when he threw that last touchdown against the Rams in that game, that's what broke the record for touchdowns by a quarterback in Philly in Eagles history. He broke McNabb's record.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that year, Carson was dealing that year.
Yeah,
Um, Jalen Hurts, of course, 2 interceptions, has more rushing yards. I want to say he has more. He might have had less passing yards.
which makes sense because again, he's the dual threat. So
Right.
and the way he's running too, it's like very with Carson running as reckless as he was. You know what I mean? So again, it's scary to say that he's MVP caliber because when we last time we talked about the Eagles quarterback having an MVP season, he got hurt. So I know, I know,
I don't want to say anything now.
I know. It's like let's just let it ride.
I don't want to say anything. All right, let's change the subject then. Let's talk about let's talk about some of these moves the Phillies have made. Over the last few days, they've made announcements of signing the likes of Trey Turner, uh, Matt Matt Strom. Is that correct? I keep wanting to say Hank Stram. Matt Strom and Taiwan Walker. And for some reason, it's called Tyrone a lot. Uh, maybe they don't see his name and they just hear
Yeah,
it.
they're making assumptions.
Taiwan Walker from the Mets, Matt Strom from the uh,
Red Sox.
and of course Trey Turner from the LA Dodgers. Um, we spoke a couple weeks ago about who we want some of the targets to be, and I think I was essentially convinced and said Trey Turner has got to be the guy. I think I was all over the place. I think I was trying to make it,
You want you really wanted Bogarts, which would have been um
and then you showed me how old he was.
well, no, it wasn't even the age thing. It was more so not as fast, and defense was okay. You know what I mean? So I don't think we would have gained anything defensively between him and Stop. You know what I mean? But with Turner, you got his speed. And not for nothing, he has some experience in the office, so you could technically, if you need him in the outfield, you can move him to center field if Johan Rojas and Justin Crawford don't work out. When they're ready to come up in a couple of years. Because you know me, I think like I imagine myself, man, if only I had a $280 million salary or payroll. This is the fifth year of Machado's contract coming up. He has an opt out. He signed for 11 years. He has an opt out. So here I go. You sign Machado. He's your new third baseman after the 23 season. You move Bohm to first base, so you don't have to worry about continuously coaching his defense. and you trade Reese Hoskins.
I mean, can can it work with everything? Like you crunched the numbers on that?
No.
Oh,
Well, here's what I'm thinking, because again, the only reason why we were able to get Trey Turner and the pitching help was because the luxury tax threshold increased. The luxury tax threshold is gonna increase again next year. So you're talking about you might actually break even doing that way, because I think it's also Aaron Nola's last year. So you might break even, but by that time you may have Andrew Painter and Mick Abel coming up too, because they're the two pitching prodigies in the Phillies organization. So we'll see.
yeah, we will see. See, sometimes I wish you were the GM because I know you'd figure it out and make it work. Um, they are they are going in. We are they are they're spending some money, right? They went and get Trey Turner. They went and get two arms. Are you as a fan? I mean, I don't think they're done personally, but are you as a fan satisfied with the moves they've made so far?
I am. I like the Strom deal, because you have a solid left-hander to kind of complement Alvarado, so he won't be the only lefty that is effective. Taiwan Walker, I'm a little iffy about, because he has a little bit of injury history in the beginning of his career. Hopefully, it's out of his system. He had his last two seasons been pretty good. I was really hoping for Carlos Rodon, and he might still be a target, but I'm thinking luxury tax threshold. I don't. I know they talked about, if they gotta move the needle a little bit, but I don't think they're gonna put out another 35 million for a 31, 32-year-old pitcher. Although the trend in baseball seems to be not to care with the Grom and Verlander. So
Well, you know what? I was thinking about it the other day, and somebody was talking about having those two, and they're just going to be so dominant in the top of your bullpen, the start of your bullpen. But here's where I'm not as concerned about that staff, whether it makes sense or not. You can tell me. They normally play each other like 19 times or something crazy.
ooh, Phillies and Mets.
Yeah, all the teams that within your division.
Division.
They're not going to play them as much this year.
That's true. Yeah, because of the
Expansion of playing everybody.
right.
So I'm not as concerned.
Yeah,
We're only going to see them. We're going to see them what, four less times or something like that.
well, yeah. It's one less series. I think
Series. So call it three less times, which means that's less times that you will see their 1-2 punch. You're going to see a piece of it most of the time anyway.
right,
Just gotta hope you don't see it back to back, right?
right,
Because it's kind of like when the Phillies had the four aces, you were going to run into somebody,
right.
and they were so dominant that I mean that. How does that team not make it to the World Series? I just made myself angry. Um,
It's the same way and the same reason the Mets didn't make it and the Dodgers didn't make it last year, and those were the two best teams arguably in baseball, and they couldn't do it.
but I'm talking about the four aces year. I understand that we were a good baseball team, but we had four arms that you weren't really supposed to touch.
Well, I mean, when you have a 40-year-old Raul Ibanez and a Ben Francisco, who you thought was the second coming of Pat Burrell,
Was Ben Francisco on that team?
he was on that team. He was the one that replaced Pat Burrell.
Well, he played center field though, didn't he?
No, he played left field.
Better than me with that memory. But I remember Ben Francisco very much. Forgot where I was going with it. Let's go back to what you said. As a fan, you're happy with the moves or no?
I'm happy. I'm happy. I think I would have loved a slightly better pitcher other than Walker, but again, Phillies and Eagles have been surprising. Have been making me second guess my knowledge on stuff. But you know,
I can dig it. I can dig it. We'll have to see. Like this Phillies team, what they have addressed a defensive position. They've addressed at a batter's spot.
they addressed speed. We finally
They
had. I just
speed in a sense. They got one guy. They
right.
got
I just hope that he bats leadoff. I really do. Because I know most of the lineups that have been thrown out there have Schwarber leading off and then him batting second. I just don't think that makes sense because again, you and I kind of like the traditional leadoff hitter. You
yeah,
you
and
got you got your speed guy that has power, so why not have him on? Potentially get on base, and then Schwarber comes up and he's going to be facing fastballs because you know what I mean. And
right.
with the bigger pitch,
I would definitely go that way personally. And I know that people call that old school Stone Age baseball, but it just makes sense. So here's my main argument as to why Trey Turner should bat first in front of Schwarber. Could bat Schwarber second, right? But here's my main argument: if Schwarber leads off and gets on second base, it just sounded stupid in my head now as I was. But I'm just if no if Schwarber gets on base in front of Trey Turner, y'all not you guys are not being aggressive on the base pass.
well, you know what though? Remember in the World Series, he had like 3 stolen bases,
He did,
and
and and that's why I'm like in my head I'm like now it sounds stupid, but I'm feeling like you can be more aggressive with Trey Turner on in front of Schwarber than you can with Schwarber in front of Turner.
he's the fastest man in baseball. Why would you not do that? You know what I mean?
I don't want anyone slow in front of my speed guys on base.
Makes sense to me.
No. Because now you something that, and I'm not, and Schwarber's not, a turtle, right? But now you're looking at something that Trey Turner might be able to stretch to a triple, but maybe Schwarber can only get the third base on it. Now nobody scores.
Right.
Let's flip that. Let's say Trey Turner's on first base, Schwarber's at bat, and something that Schwarber may be able to stretch into a double, stretch into a double. Trey Turner's probably scoring from first base.
Right.
Now you're ahead.
Now, I do like the idea. I like what they did in the playoffs where they switched Harper and Romuto. And Romuto batted third and Harper batted fourth because before Turner, Romuto is the fastest guy. So you could do even more damage. I'm thinking maybe you could even do Turner, then Romuto, then Schwarber, at least until Harper comes back from the ACL thing, and then Harper. Or when Harper does come back, put Harper back in the 3 spot because even he has more speed than Schwarber. So you have Turner, JT, and Harper, all with some speed. So then you would have Schwarber cleaning up.
Turner's a lefty, correct?
Turner's a righty.
Turner's a righty.
I mean,
Okay.
you could go right, left, which you know how I always like to alternate that way. But again, you have 2 of your fastest guys at the top of the lineup that hit with power, so you get the bonus of the accidental, pop it over the fence. But you got the fastest man in baseball hitting in front of the fastest catcher in baseball, hitting after or before the most clutch player in baseball.
So you were saying Turner, Remuto, Schwarber.
Well, Schwarber until Harper comes back. When Harper comes back, Harper bats third.
Turner, Remuto, Harbor, Schwarber.
Yes,
You're gonna go. You're gonna go right, right, left, left.
I am because I don't think lefty righty matchups matter with Schwarber or with Harper because their plate discipline more so Schwarber. Plate discipline is just out of this world. I think he averaged 5 to 6 pitches in at bat. So why not? You know what I mean?
I got you. I got you. I think I might. I think I might go. I think. Hmm,
And because that's the way baseball is going now. Anyway, now that the shift is gone, and now that the
right.
bases are bigger, I think you're going to start to see a little bit of a flow back to we might be going back 10, 15 years where now the most stolen bases moves up from being 10 or 20 to like 50, 60 again, which again, I think that's what makes baseball exciting is it's not just the action between the pitcher and the catcher, but it's also the base runner and the shortstop. So it's more of an inclusive game.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking of a lineup, and I might get fired if I'm the GM. I might get fired for this lineup. Hear me out. I may go Trey Turner. Let's give me Trey Turner, then Kyle Schwarber, then give me Castellanos, then Bryce Muto. They went Castellanos, Bryce, and Real Muto series.
Yeah, Castellanos has to earn it because he's. I mean, he saved a lot of plays on defense, but his offense was atrocious at times, and he got it together in a couple of playoff games, but I don't
Yeah,
recall.
he come on a little bit late in the season,
Yeah, I,
but
I just have to see. I don't know if I want to bat him that high yet. I got to see how he starts off.
I'm wondering if he just had a bad season and he comes back being the Nick Castellanos that we thought we were going to get.
He's got to sell the Ben Simmons apartment to Jinx. All
Might be.
all all the Kardashian juices are like in his clothes now, and it's like a poison. It makes you think that you're better than you are, and you start shopping at Tiffany's.
Might be something to it. It might- Um, so I'm just thinking about the lineup now. So I guess with that being said, like the bottom half of my lineup is going to be real slim flammy
Not really.
because we gotta have Stott somewhere. We gotta have uh,
Stott stays at 9 because he could turn your lineup over because he
okay,
he came in clutch. You know what I mean? He takes good pitches. He's another one that has the great place to discipline. You see what he does with 2 strikes. He bears down and battles. So if nothing else, he can wear the pitcher down. I say you keep him at 9 so he can turn the lineup over.
okay. I'll keep him at 9 and turn the lineup over. Then we gotta figure out a spot for Reese and a spot for. And I guess that's it. That would
So Reese can bat fifth.
we got Muto batting fifth.
I'm sorry, yeah, Muto bat fifth. Reese will bat sixth. Bone will bat seventh. Actually, Stott would be eighth, and then Marsh
Oh, Marsh.
Marsh would
So,
be ninth.
okay, so I would go. So after Real Muto, I would go. I might actually go Stott then Marsh batting.
Yeah, that could work. Marsh
Marsh.
Marsh strikes out way too much for me though. I mean, he occasionally will make that contact and hit those. He hits accidental home runs. You know what I mean? So it could work.
Um, well, we got plenty of time to figure that out. We got plenty of time to figure out our lineups, but looks like the Phillies are really looking to make something happen in this upcoming season. Let us know what you think. You can comment below. Of course, you can hit us on the phone line 669-275-0323. Let's talk about the events that happened today real quick. Made international news, of course. And if you haven't heard by now, Brittney Griner was released from a Russian prison in a prisoner exchange. And I want to ask Miguel, who won the trade, Russia or the United States?
It is Putin and potato. Yeah, Putin wins. Putin wins the trade. I saw a meme. Somebody said they should have added Baker Mayfield as a conditional pick. But you know, not trying to get too much into the politics of it, but when I saw that, I was like, wow, because I didn't realize there was a prisoner that we had that we were going to swap, and then
Yeah,
to
they've been talking about Russia, and we're talking, and it's not a sport. We're not trying to get too political, but it is going to sound like a real sport here. The talk was that Russia wanted his last name is Bout, I believe. I can't think of his name right now, but I'll look it up. Russia wanted him in the deal, like without the this guy's name kept coming up in the deal.
the deal.
So in the deal, absolutely. So if it seemed like Russia was playing hardball, and if there was the guns dealer, no guns dealer, then no deal. And the fact that the United States has another person imprisoned over there, and they couldn't get that person as part of this deal. Now you just kind of wonder what's Russia planning to do with the gun runner. We already know what U.S. We assume that Brittany goes back to playing basketball in the WNBA and possibly some other country. Because if I'm her, I'm never going back to Russia ever again in life. I may not even say the word ever again. But she was making a lot of money over there. A lot of money over there. Excuse me. So, um, but Russia wins the trade. They Putin got. I mean, from the very jump, she was used as a political pawn. And I really feel like Russia got what they wanted out of the deal. They didn't get any conditional draft picks out of it. They didn't get any extra money out of it. Unfortunately, we didn't get any extra money out of or any conditional draft picks or any uh, future draft picks or future considerations or anything like that. So I just thought it was very interesting. I was shocked, just like you. I was shocked that it happened. I was shocked. But congratulations to Brittney Griner and her family. Brittany's coming home. Uh, Happy for y'all. I'm glad this happened for y'all. Uh, and I'll leave it at that.
There you go.
A couple other things we're gonna talk about today. Are we talking about Dion today?
We can.
Got to. I think we got to. I think we got to. As we know, Deion Sanders, head football coach at Jackson State University, and he accepted a position to be the head coach at University of Colorado, a PWI. If you don't know what PWI is, that is a predominantly institution. A lot of people are calling Deion a sellout for this move. Um, and I can see where'd you go, Miguel? Oh, there you go. Okay, and I can see why people would feel that way. And I can see both sides, and there's more and more information coming out every day about the goings on. Um, I'm going to give you my opinion just a little bit, but Miguel, I want to hear yours first. I want to know when you heard that when you heard that Deion Sanders was accepting a position as the coach of Colorado. What was your initial reaction?
When I first heard, I mean, initially I was like, wow. I felt somewhat disappointed, but when you look at it, Deion Sanders set out to do a couple of things. His one of his main goals was he said out loud that he wanted to change lives and he wanted to change the perspective of HBCU football. Mission accomplished. Um, I would have liked to seen him stay for a little bit longer, but then when you look at what he was able to do during his tenure, he was able to generate almost $200 million of revenue in advertising and exposure to Jackson State. Was able to get the show College Game Day, you know, get more TV time, get them TV contracts, get a new stadium, and then come to find out, and the news is starting to come out that as a coach, it seems like Dion had to come out of pocket for a lot of things. Everything from his salary going towards his coaches, because the Jackson State will say, well, we paid him $300,000, but you didn't pay his coaches. There was even a report that because the dining situation was atrocious at the school, he actually wound up buying, food for the team. Um, and I think it goes back to something that a guest that we had on, who works at Drexel, the whole FAMU situation. Yeah. And one of the things I always remember him saying is that HBCUs will have a reckoning because they have to stop trying to compete on the same level as their Caucasian counterparts. And I think, unfortunately, this kind of proved him right in the fact that, there's another report that said that all the money that was generated to Jackson State, instead of it going to the football program or anything athletic related, they put it into a general fund and then spread it out accordingly, which doesn't really help things for your program. So him taking the job, I mean, what people have to understand about sports is that coaches are not loyal, and it's not the word I want to use, but they shouldn't be expected to be loyal because, I mean, you see Big Ten coaches all the time moving from school to school for the best opportunities and the best benefits and everything like that. And no one says anything. No one's like, they may be shocked at the location, but for, a brief moment, they're like, oh, well, he took a better deal. Good for him. So why is it not a pat on the back moment for Deion Sanders? He achieved everything and above at Jackson. I think the expectation was, and unfortunately, I've seen this time and time again on the academic side, not this, and on the athletic side. But when somebody is successful and they had to do all these things behind the scenes to keep things afloat that people don't normally see, then they're expected to just, oh well, he'll just take care of it. And it's like, but why? When you have the resources or you have the ability to get resources, but you just don't because the other person's doing the work for you. You know what I mean? So I think from from a PR standpoint, I think he's being unjustly criticized because, I mean, look at what he was able to do in a short period of time, which is proof that HBCUs are viable institutions that can compete with anybody if you put the effort in.
Well said. Well stated. Um,
And on top of that, he was in Jackson with the water crisis.
here, yeah, yeah, they had an issue down there too. Um, Here's what I will say about that. I am a product of a HBCU. Um, I competed for the school as a baseball player. Here's what I will say. I'm start off by saying Deion Sanders is entitled to go anywhere he wants as a coach. He's entitled to deal because at the end of the day, it's all a business. And here's where I think Deion Sanders went wrong with the situation to make him look that make this and that's making him look the way he's looking. Deion Sanders came to the school that he was going to do these things, and he was doing a lot, right? And he was bringing blue chip athletes to a HBCU. It is extremely rare. Those that may not know, it is extremely rare for a blue chip athlete to go. Deion Sanders not only created a flood of blue chip athletes going to HBCUs for going to Jackson State, but also going to other HBCUs to play football, going to other HBCUs to play basketball, going to other HBCUs to play other sports. Top athletes. Deion Sanders, what Coach Prime did, he laid out basically the argument of what you said. HBCUs can compete. HBCUs can be successful on a certain level if you put in the effort. But Coach Prime, what Deion Sanders didn't do, and wasn't supposed to either, didn't make you feel like he was only going to be there temporarily. Not his fault. Made it seem like he was there for the long haul, and that's where he wanted to be, and that's where he was going to go. That's where he was going to stay. Excuse me. That didn't happen. Deion Sanders kind of was kind of like Moses in a sense. I hate to put it on that level. It's not on the same level as Moses. It's kind of like Moses in the sense, come with me, come follow me, come on this ride with me. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you the way. And everybody was on board. Sports Illustrated going down to Jackson State, taking. I got the Sports Illustrated around here somewhere. I meant to get it before the show. He brought great athletes to his team. They won the SWAC title, I think, 2 years in a row or something like that. Um, and he made you believe that yes, this is possible. But what people didn't realize is this was possible for athlete the caliber of Deion Sanders. Five. Eddie George, great athlete, phenomenal running back in his day, Super Bowl participant. Sorry. He coaches Tennessee State University, but he doesn't have the he doesn't have what Deion Sanders has. And I'm going to say, I'm going to call it a social media presence, but he just doesn't have what Deion Sanders has publicly. Hugh Jackson coaches Grambling State. I believe it's Grambling State. Played in the NFL, coached in the NFL, but he's not bringing those athletes like Deion was bringing. Not happening, right? Coach Prime did that. Coach Prime did that. And we were following Coach Prime. We were rooting for Coach Prime against a whole bunch of other schools because we thought that the people thought Coach Prime was planting his flag at an HBCU. And then he left. And when he left, he took all the attention with him, right? Blue chip athletes will not be going to Jackson State University next year. Most blue chip athletes will probably not go to an HBCU next year or in the coming years because that attention is now going away from HBCUs, unfortunately. And it's not all on Coach Prime.
Right.
Unfortunately, there is not another athlete or somebody with the caliber of Coach Prime to go to another school to rival him or go to another school to do the same things that he was doing. And Coach Prime was able to do a lot of things at Jackson State. But see, people see it as he turned his back on black folks. No, he turned his back on black folks. From what we're reading, Jackson State failed him. And I'm not defending him. I'm disappointed that he left as well, just
Well,
as much as anybody else.
and it's not just Jackson State. I think the HBCU system as a whole failed them because him leaving, however he left, actually just proved the decades of neglect. Because now, I was reading another story how the athletic director didn't want to give Dion the credit, which is why when because when a team goes onto a bowl game, that's money that comes in. And usually there are escalators and bonuses tied into a coach's contract. I was looking at the contract for the baseball coach at University of Maryland, and for every round of the College World Series that he goes or advances, it's like $25,000. You know what I mean? And that's on the D1 level. Back down HBCU, the school gets some of the money, and I think there's an expectation. Well, the coach, because they're responsible for getting the team prepped and winning those games, should get a piece of that pie. And allegedly, the athletic director did none of that. Didn't give him the credit. And allegedly, there was a butting of heads where the athletic director wanted to prove that he was the man because he was the one that selected and took a chance on Dion. So he's but again, it goes back to the decades of neglect. You know what I mean? Because the joke growing up was that you don't go to HBCU football games for the game. You go for the halftime shows and the battle of the bands. That's the only reason why you went to the games. You know,
Yeah.
but then there was an opportunity here, but it wasn't. I think a lot of people that are calling Dion a sellout is they really want HBCUs to be on the same level as Big Tens and all that, but they don't want to put in the work. And it goes back to alumni not donating like they do. Picking on University of Maryland, the stadium, the baseball stadium, is right in front of the football stadium. On the left hand side of the football stadium, that's the home side of the Maryland Terrapins, right? On the whole left side, it looks like the stadium was converted into a resort. It had 5 levels of balcony seating, not stadium seating, balcony seating, and there were just nothing but these box suites. You see the filet mignon and all that crap, right? Alumni did that. Okay. And I get the argument that, unfortunately, a lot of people that go to HBCUs and graduate from don't become as successful financially because of systemic racism and all that in the workplace. But there are still some that are able but not willing. And that was something that Dion addressed, and some people have addressed openly in defense of Dion. You can't put decades of neglect on them. You can't put a no an invisible alumni. You can't put that on him. Would I like to see him maybe even stay one more year? Absolutely. But when I see I was looking at possibly coaching at HBCU and just seeing that most HBCUs, if you become a coach, you also become an assistant athletic director or an associate athletic director, and then you wind up being in the accounting department, and now you're doing general ed stuff, and it's like, so you want me to handle six,
Yeah.
but for this price. So I understand too that a lot of I understand that there's not fair funding for HBCUs, but again, why put that on the coaches?
Yeah, I mean that's a tough one to put on coaches. And let me also say that I'm just thinking about what you're talking about with the boxes at the University of Maryland. A lot of HBCUs, not all, many HBCUs are actually in areas that are not. I don't even know how to say this honestly, but so you have let's take University of Maryland for instance. All right, University of Maryland is in
College
um,
Park.
College Park, and what's around very close to DC, very
Mhm.
close to Baltimore, very close to Prince George's County. There's a lot of corporations there, so you can be there, donate to your school, create a box. You can buy the season tickets if you have the money, and you don't have far to go.
Bro, they have their own 18-hole golf course.
And right, and you're just you're basically adding to what I'm saying. They donate the money and they go to these games because they're there. And a lot of HBCUs are not in areas where you're going to stay, right? Like I'll take my school for instance. My school, I love my school. I met my wife at my school. Things I learned at my school I'm using to this day in my career and everything, right? But it's not the type. You stay there if you it's trying to say this without sounding disrespectful. I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, and I hope nobody takes it as such. But it's in a country area, so your high rises and your big corporations are not necessarily in those areas, right? You are if you decide to stay in that area, it's because you love the area and that's how you want to live. I mean, I guess that's for anybody, but it's not because your big corporation is in that area and that's where I'm going to play my. It's just not like I'm thinking Princess Anne, Maryland. That's where my school was. Dover, Delaware, right? Little bit more corporate, but not really. You got Morgan State and Cobbin State in Baltimore. Big area, right? I'm thinking of South Carolina State, Orangeburg, Spartanburg. I forgot what it is, but it's that part of South Carolina. You got Hampton University
Yes, Southern University in yeah.
in Louisiana. You got, of course, you got somebody say Howard University. Yeah, Howard University is in the middle of DC. If you look at Howard's facilities compared to some of the other facilities, you're going to see a difference.
I
You will see a
uh,
difference.
where we stayed at in Bowie, we were 5 minutes from Bowie State, and they got their own transit station. The MARC train stops right there, so it's like, and they got glass facade facilities.
When I went to play my first year playing baseball, when I went to play Bethune Cookman University,
Oh wow!
Daytona Beach Town, right? Beach Town. They were conference champions. I don't know how many years in a row. They didn't even have their own field. They played at Jackie Robinson Stadium.
Oh wow!
So
That's
you know what I mean.
that's crazy.
You are a conference champion. I don't know how many times over, but you don't have your own stadium. It just it is what it is. We've already gone longer than we should have gone, so let's get on to the next part of the show. I don't have questions for Miguel today because I would have to move a whole bunch of stuff to get to him.
No questions.
I mean I can drum one up, I'm sure.
Well, let's
But
see.
oh Lord, whoever this is played for everybody.
All right,
Okay,
so he played so long in the major leagues that some teams he played for twice. So
it's
this
not
gentleman,
Nolan Ryan because
say again?
hold on. I said it's not Nolan Ryan.
Nope. He only
Nolan
played
Ryan
for
played for the Diamondbacks or the Phillies.
So this gentleman played for and I will say it as fast as I can. He played for your Philadelphia Phillies, the San Francisco Giants, the Chicago Cubs, the Minnesota Twins, the Atlanta Braves, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Cleveland Indians, the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Steelers, the Seattle Seahawks, the Seattle Mariners, and the New York Yankees. He played with the He played with the Phillies on 3 occasions, San Francisco on 2 occasions, and I think the Dodgers on 2 occasions.
Give me the lifespan of his career and his position if it doesn't give it away.
Um, he was a pitcher.
Charlie Huff.
No,
Yeah, you already did Charlie Huff once already. I just had
I
to throw
did.
out
I did.
play
And
or had
you guessed him right away because of the Marlins.
yeah, Charlie Huff played like I thought when I saw Charlie Huff play, I thought he was like 68. Obviously, I was
It's
like,
funny because when he was a rookie, he looked like a 68-year-old rookie just with black hair. Um, he played. Oh man,
I
he
have no clue who this
he
is.
played when the cocaine trials hit in the mid '80s to the beginning of the steroid era. That's how long he played. That's how long he played.
Who was uh did steroids get him through the steroid era?
No, because at that point he was already toast anyway.
Not it's not no, because he never played for the Phillies. Randy Johnson. I can't remember what number Randy Johnson wore, but
What number did he wear?
played for the Pirates, the Phillies.
All right, so he
Relief
played.
pitcher or was he a starter?
Say again.
Was he a relief pitcher or a starter?
Yes. So in the beginning of his career, he was a starter, and he wound up working spot starts, bullpen, but he never was a closer.
I have no idea who this is.
All right, he was a lefty.
One time All Star.
Do you want to know when his
I'm
All
gonna
Star?
know who this person is.
Say again.
Sure, I'm gonna know who this person is.
If I tell you when he was an All Star,
When was he an All Star?
he was an All Star for your 1993 Philadelphia Phillies.
Can't hear me. Okay. Who were the relievers that year? I'm trying to think. Wow. Who were the starters that year? Starters. We had Schilling was a starter. Tommy Green was a starter. Uh, Ben Rivera was a starter, I think, that year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember who else was a starter. That Terry Mulholland. Terry Mulholland. He played forever. Yes, he did. Wow. It took me a little bit. It took me a while. Wow, Terry Mulholland was around for a long time.
He had the exact same pitching motion.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
But
Terry,
Do you remember why the primary reason why he got the All Star that year? Remember, he had the best
Phillies
pickup.
weren't good yet.
Huh?
Phillies weren't good yet that year.
In '93?
Yeah, they didn't run the tape. They didn't go. They didn't go wire first place. Didn't they go worst to first?
Yeah, '93 was the year they went to the World Series.
Right, but I'm saying
So in '92, he led Major League Baseball in pickoffs. Remember, he had that step off pickoff move.
yeah, I do
It was
remember that.
that short Jimmy John right there. So for 92-93, he led Major League Baseball in pickoffs at first base
Interesting.
because he was a pitch to contact hitter. Because I don't think he had. Let me see. 93, he threw 191 innings and had 116 strikeouts.
How was he able to last so long in the major leagues? Wow, that's amazing. He played for a very long time.
He was a lefty. That's what did it. You know how lefties can.
I mean, like his arm didn't wear out on him or nothing. He just played for a very. He played. He didn't have a beard, so he had a gray beard. Went through the whole range of puberty during his whole career.
Yeah, I gotta find the picture of him. What he looks like now. Like his beard is like down to like his nipples, and he's got long flowing hair, and it's all white.
Wow.
Like like he
So
sleeps like he looks like he look it looks like he sleeps at the Amtrak train station.
you show me after the show. Let me go ahead and get these questions. I didn't want to reach all on the camera like this and show everybody what might be up my nose. All right, here we go. Let me find a card. Not looking, not looking, not looking. Oh, it's gonna be a tough one for you, I think.
Is it skateboarding?
No, it's logos and mascots.
Okay.
All right, here we go. I can't even see. Which often booed anti mascot did the San Francisco Giants introduce for their 1984 season? Yeah, I know, tough, right? I'd never get it ever in life. I'll give you multiple choice.
Yeah.
Barnacle Bob, Crazy Crab, Looney Lobster.
Crabs and lobsters don't make sense in San Francisco, do they? I'll take the non fish one.
Barnacle Bob,
Yeah.
that would be incorrect.
Really? They went fish? Then lobster.
That also would be incorrect. It is
Crab?
Crazy Crab.
What the hell did Crazy Crab had to do with San Francisco Giants? Was he
Okay.
a was he a giant crab?
Probably with that mascot suit on, probably. No. All right, here we go. And on to the next one. Which college used two campus sports landmarks to outline its logo created in 1998? What?
Huh?
Let me read that again.
Yes. And then again, yes.
Which college used two campus sports landmarks to outline its logo created in 1998? I think I'll give you the multiple choice because I don't think that don't even make sense to me. Ohio State, Oklahoma State, University of Oregon. I don't even understand that question.
Ohio?
Ohio would be incorrect. I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you it's the University of Oregon. I don't know. Here we go. What shape do the letters WSU form in the Washington State University football logo? There's multiple choice for this one too.
What letters does it form?
What shape do the letters WSU form in the Washington State University football logo?
A vagina? I don't know.
The answer is cougar head.
I was close.
Kinda, yeah, kinda. Here we go. What shape is the NHL logo?
Oh God, what shape is it?
I'll give you multiple choice because you're probably thinking like circle, triangle.
No, I'm thinking it's like a shield, isn't it?
That is correct. That's the answer. Shield. Shield is the answer. There you go. I would never thought of shield as a shape.
I wouldn't think of it as a shape either.
Which boxer's silhouette is the logo for the Louisville International Airport, renamed in honor renamed to honor him in 2019?
Would that be the Muhammad Ali?
That would be correct.
What
Oh,
is
do you
that bit at
want,
the end? If he wants to be called Cassius Clay, I'll call him Cassius Clay. I'm gonna
do you
call him.
want 5 more of these logo and mascot questions?
I want to call him Clay. Yeah, sure.
Excuse me. Which MLB team had a mascot named Yuppie, the first mascot to be thrown out of a game by an umpire?
Oh, Montreal Expos.
That is correct. How many teams in the Big East Basketball Conference use a color in the name of their school mascot?
How many?
Yeah.
All of them?
4, 7, or 10?
I'll go 7.
Answer is 4, but I'm trying to think. So you got Syracuse on the Big East basketball doesn't even it doesn't exist as we knew it growing up.
I
But
just
I'm
know
thinking you got Syracuse Orange, who's actually ACC now, so I don't even know if they're counting them.
there's
You got
The Duke Blue Devils.
which is also ACC. We're just talking about Big Ten, so it would be Syracuse Orange, Villanova, no, Providence, no. I don't know who else. I don't know who. I can't even think of who else. Oh, St. John's, the Red Storm.
Is that what they're
Uh,
called?
Red Storm. Got uh Georgetown Warriors. I'll move on. I'll think of it later. Here we go. Somebody's probably like, oh yeah, what tool does Pete excuse me. What tool does Pete Purdue's University's okay, yeah. What tool does Pete Purdue University's Boilermaker mascot carry at football games?
A
Is
stat,
it a sledgehammer, a pickaxe, or a lug wrench?
a sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer is correct. I think I would have said pickaxe. What is the name of the official mascot of the Minnesota Wild? Nordy, Wild Bill, Valhalla.
Nordy.
Nordy is correct. And last one, thank God. What is the name of the official mascot for Formula One I read it right. What is the name of the official mascot for Formula One unveiled at the Shanghai F1 Festival in 2018? I'll give you the choices.
Thank you.
Axel, Speedy, Clutch.
Axel.
Axel is correct. I hope I never pick that topic again. Not only was it confusing, but the questions didn't make sense. There you are. You keep disappearing.
Oh, sorry.
All right, so that's going to do it for the Check Swing podcast, y'all. We appreciate y'all hanging with us and hang and staying as long as you did, and just dealing with our shenanigans. We'll talk to you next time on the Check Swing podcast. I think this is it for the year, right? I think we're coming back after the new year after this.
Yeah. So this will be um
But
yeah.
yeah, we'll probably have a couple maybe we'll do some things on social media here and there. But this will be it for the live show until 2023. Miguel, you have any last words for the people?
No, thank you for a great 2022 and the ups and downs of it all, and we look forward to coming back in 23 with some new stuff, engaging stuff, and as coaches, we're here to support coaches, and you know, thank you.
Absolutely. And as far as I'm concerned, man, thank you for hanging with us in this 2022 year. I almost said 2022 season, but I guess that is what it is for us, the 2022 season. Um, you know, we do a lot of things here. We make some sacrifices, and we do a lot of things here to put shows on for you here at Neutrals Radio and the Check Swing Podcast. And we just appreciate you guys for being with us during that time and staying with us during that time. And as we get ready to sign off until 2023, we want to thank everybody who has checked us out, who has shared us, who has subscribed to the YouTube channel, who has gone on and told somebody about us going on and shared the link so somebody else can watch us, who has gone on and commented and joined us in conversation. All of our guests that we've had on this year, we thank y'all for being on. Everybody that tributes to the show, we appreciate every single one of y'all, and we hope to do more of it and do it better for y'all in 2023. And with that being said, make sure y'all be nice to each other. And as I always tell, you got something else you want to say? Okay.
I'll let you finish, and then I'll finish.
I was going to say, as I always tell all of my athletes that I coach, make sure you look at yourself in the mirror and you give yourself a self evaluation before you start judging others and evaluate yourself. And I lost that. Take inventory of yourself. I have to change it up. Take inventory of yourself accordingly. Be honest with yourself. All right. When you evaluate, there you go. When you evaluate yourself, be honest with yourself and understand where you are in your life and what you need to do to get where you want to be in life. With that being said, I'm gonna let Miguel have the last word, and I'm getting out of here.
Sometimes I look at people and think, really, that's the sperm that won.
Well, all right. I'm gonna put that one in the same category as Tara on the 10-7 show. That's something that she definitely would have said in our final words. So I'm putting y'all in that same box.
Oh
Right?
Lord!
But we're gonna get up out of here. We appreciate y'all. We'll talk to y'all next time, right here on Jackson Wing Podcast.